This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI Studios in Toronto, Canada.
Hey Toronto, this is Ed Sheeran.
This is Kelly Clarkson.
Hi, this is Bryan Adams.
This is Adele.
This is Madonna.
It's Michael Bublé, and you're listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep Show. It's fun. They're amazing.
So my kids went to a first birthday party yesterday. My kids are 2.5, and they went to a first birthday party, and it was so much fun. It was in one of those like play areas where they got to like play with various toys and then got to meet other kids. Some were older than them, some were younger than them.
Well, so wait, they're 2+ and they went to a 1-year-old's party. So they're more than double the age of the birthday person.
This is true. This is true.
But like, we have nothing to talk about. It's so not relatable.
We have nothing in common. And then I'm like, why do they talk like that at 2.5? That's when it starts. But something happened with my daughter, Sia, that resulted in gasps. There were some gasps. There was some oohing, some awing, and there was even a round of applause.
Did she grab the cake with her hand and just eat it?
No, I guess that would have been
like, oh my God, ooh, yay, well done.
I mean, that would have been probably, I think, better than what actually happened. So picture a big, giant ball pit with a slide. She was going down the slide.
Party.
Yeah. She's going down the slide, and there was another younger child in the ball pit. He was 1, okay, and his name was Caleb. Very, very cute. Very cute boy.
Tell me she jumped off the slide like the top turnbuckle, and she's like, DDT.
No children were harmed at the birthday party. What do you think is going on here? She's not aggressive.
Listen, I haven't been to a kids party in a long time. I don't know what happens.
So she slides down the slide, and there's Caleb, who's 1, who's right beside the slide. And, she have to go over the balls to try to get back out. So, she's trying to maneuver her way. And I guess she kind of like landed in a place where she was face to face with him. And she starts to lean in and gives him a big, fat kiss on the lips.
Whoa! Sia had her first kiss in the ball pit?
With a younger boy.
Wow.
Yeah, he's 1, she's 2, and
twice. Sia's dating a boy twice his age. Wow.
Yes, and so I was like on the lips. So I kind of like froze. I didn't know what to do because it's like, it's personal space. It's like germs. It's all the things. But she also just kissed this boy, and she was the aggressor. And then the boy's dad came up to us and like he shook our hand. He's like, "Hello, in-laws."
Wow.
Yeah.
And he's like, I just want to be clear. Has Sia had her cootie shot?
Yes.
I just want to make sure.
Well, he was like, this is how it works. This is how arranged marriage works. Apparently, at a birthday party.
What was Caleb's reaction?
Caleb was into it. His cheeks turned all red. He loved it.
Wow.
He was looking at her with like stars in his eyes.
Caleb's just like, yo, let's just slow it down. I'm looking for a situationship.
He's like, I like older women, but come on now. Anyway, and then people started clapping. So it was a whole
Clapping?
thing. There was clapping. There was clapping.
What kind of party was this?
I'm not sure. But so then I'm like, do I talk about this? Do I tell her? Like, you don't just like go around kissing people. Like, that's not okay. But at the same time, it was cute.
Did it get the Saved by the Bell? Ooh!
It totally did.
Wow.
It totally did. Yeah. So what does this mean? Does it mean no more birthday parties?
It means Sia's basically Demi Moore chasing men half her age. I mean, I don't know what to tell you here.
Yeah, well, it was a good birthday party. We left with the loot bag and potential in-laws.
It would have been better if it was DDT.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Did you catch this story? The Raptors have that show Open Gym, which is kind of like a behind-the-scenes look at the team and in-depth interviews with players. Great interview and episode just dropped of Open Gym that features 2 former Raptor greats and still active players, Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan.
And you just had to love their friendship. Also, what they did for our team. They gave everything they could to the franchise when they were with us. But they developed their own little friendship, their families, the kids grew up together. Like, they often talk so much about how special that relationship was. And we've heard Kyle Lowry say in the past that he wants to retire as a Raptor. And I guess now in this documentary, we're hearing DeMar DeRozan wants to do the same thing.
And this is actually quite the revelation because Kyle, he never left on bad terms. He won a championship here. There's talk of him getting a statue outside Scotiabank Arena when he finally hangs up his sneakers. So Kyle makes complete sense that he wants to retire here. DeMar, it wasn't quite clear because if you remember, if you go back to that summer of 2018, he was allegedly told by Masai Ujiri, who runs the Raptors, that we're not trading you. You were a Raptor. And then in the middle of the night, we find out DeMar DeRozan had been traded to the San Antonio Spurs for Kawhi Leonard, who is the guy that wound up sort of carrying the Raptors to a championship with the help of some other players. So we probably don't get a championship without that trade. But DeMar felt like the jilted ex-lover. He was angry. He carried this chip on his shoulder. But I guess time heals a lot of wounds.
And it doesn't change his relationship with our city. In fact, here's a little clip from that episode.
That's the only place I want to go out as well. You know what I mean? Doing the whole one-day thing and everything.
It's gonna be for sure. It's gonna be one day.
It's like one of those things that's, like I said, I think I said it before. Like I would never have an emotional connection like I had with no other place than Toronto.
That's nice to hear. Because
Yes.
I'm sure if you asked him this 4 or 5 years ago, he didn't necessarily feel this way. He's also, by the way, got his whole feud with Drake going on. Like those two don't get along now.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they don't get along. So maybe they'll have to work that out when he gets his. Maybe Drake. I don't think Drake's going to be at that press conference when he signs his one-day contract. But that's really nice to hear because when he does retire, when you think of DeMar DeRozan, you're going to think of him as a Raptor. He was 18 when he got drafted. He grew up here.
Yeah,
right?
and for all the people who think, oh, no pro player wants to come to Toronto because it's cold and all those things, let this be the example that at the end of the day, if you got a good team and we've got great people here, obviously he loves our city and he loves our people, that people love our city, period.
Yeah. The food scene doesn't hurt either.
Yeah.
We'll have you back tomorrow. We love that.
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI.
A lot of you listening may be people who work in an office, or at least you have, and I'm wondering, what is the most irritating office place infraction or behavior you've witnessed? Because there's a lot that can get under your skin in an office setting.
How much time do we have? I feel like people probably have a lot to say about this. The interesting thing is there's the survey that's out says that surprisingly, people being late isn't one of them. Like it was out of all of the choices of things that are irritating, apparently being late was at the bottom of the list. I would have thought that would have been higher up.
See, that's interesting because if it was a list of like social faux pas, like if you're hosting a party or meeting someone for dinner, being late would probably be number one.
Yeah.
But as it turns out in the office, a place of productivity, being late is less important.
And it might have something to do with, post-pandemic that now we're just so used to people working from home. You're always on your phone. So like the time of like when you start or when you walk in the door isn't the same because you could be at home.
Right.
You're always working.
And also now, like let's say you have like a 9:05 meeting or something. Even if you're late, you could hop on via like Teams or Zooms or something. So like you're not even really late. You're there. You might be on a bus taking the meeting, but you're still there.
So it might just be a sign of the times.
Yeah.
The number one thing, 88% of those surveyed said that the number one most enraging behavior from your coworkers was failure to clean up after yourself.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would not have guessed that.
Imagine coming to a desk and there's just like crumbs from somebody's breakfast or lunch and it's like, ugh, and it's there every day.
Okay, you know what? This could be a sign of the times thing too, because I think back in the day, everyone kind of had their own desk, their own cubicle. And now a lot of new age workplaces you see, including where we work here at Rogers, like there's a lot of shared workspaces.
True.
So where we work after the show is not our desk or our space. It's a space used by many other people here
It's
too. So
new age.
yeah,
as you said.
New age, newfangled.
It's so true. And then what else? Like to me personally, it wasn't on the list, but to me, the thing that irritates me, it just irritates me. I don't know why. When I pass coworkers in the hall and I say good morning, why do you think that you don't have to say anything back? Why do you just look at the floor and pretend like I'm not there?
They haven't woken up yet. You're at the peak of your day. You're done. You've been up for like 8 hours. They're just starting. It's like if someone said good morning to you as you got out of bed and you were heading to the shower, you'd be like,
Yeah, but at least I'd grunt.
Yeah,
I
but
feel
they've been up for a bit. There's no excuse. It's
Yeah.
shared workspace. It's an open hallway.
We are
They saw
professionals.
you.
We're at work. Just
I feel
say
you,
good
Pooch.
morning.
I feel you, Pooch.
Just say
It is
good morning.
pretty bad. I do think the number 2 thing on this list is actually probably Pooja's favorite thing at the office. 81% of people said the thing they hate the most is gossip, which is what I feel you live for, Pooch.
I like
Your eyes get wide when you think someone's gossiping. You just like me. You like gravitate over to like if you see gossip and you're like, ooh, who did what? Who broke up with who?
I also bring the microwave popcorn with me because
Yes.
I love that stuff. That
Yes.
stuff's good. I don't ever, repeat it to anyone, but I'm there for a good listen.
My most the thing that bothers me the most isn't even on this list. It's just the people who can't read a room. You're trying to get some work done, and the person who just sidles up and starts chatting about something completely unrelated and then lingers and hang out, the time stealers. That's not even on this list, but I'm like, I'm trying to be efficient. This is work. I want to get work done and
you're
then
like
go home and chill.
Frantically typing on your laptop. Like I'm in the middle of something and they're still like, so, how you doing?
What you doing?
Yeah. And then hours later, my train of thought, still can't find it.
What's the most irritating office place infraction?
It's Maria in Bowmanville.
People who speak on speakerphone with customers.
No.
Oh, that's the worst.
Why do they do that?
Well, I don't know. I think it's just a power thing. They want to feel important. But it really annoys me because you're trying to focus. You're trying to concentrate on your own work, and there's this voice. Two voices just going on the phone. Like, please shut up.
Yeah. Maria, and like they'll have it on full volume too. And this, I'm going to say this also extends, this behavior, this infraction isn't just in the office place. There's people who do this in public spaces, cafes. It's like, we're here to have a coffee and a conversation. We're not here to hear you on speakerphone.
On the GO train, on the TTC. Come on now, Maria.
Absolutely.
We are with you.
That's a good one.
Thank
Maria,
you.
thanks for the call.
Thank you. Bye.
New survey out saying that people who don't clean up after themselves is number one, which surprises me a little bit.
Yeah.
For me, it's because I'm here to just like work, be efficient, and then go, if I'm being honest. But like, it's the people who can't read a room and come in, they're like time wasters. They'll come in to linger, like, oh yeah. They'll stop and chat while I'm like in mid-thought, cranking something out on the keyboard.
They're like, what's your zodiac sign? You're like, no.
No.
I can't talk to you right now. Can't you see that I'm doing something? For me, it's the people who don't say good morning. Like, you're walking past me. We are making eye contact. I say good morning. You say nothing?
Be careful what you wish for, because now you're going to get someone who's like, good morning, and they're going to do a stop and chat with you, and then you start taking up your time.
Then I'm going to say, what's good? I'm going to say, what's good, man?
Was good. And then just keep on moving. That's the key.
So what's it for you? The most irritating office place infraction? Colleen from Toronto, what is it for your workplace?
It is a close tie between why does nobody want to empty the dishwasher? They leave it up to mom. And then the second one is relating to the comment you made about people get most irritated by those who don't clean up after themselves.
Yep.
I think the women's washroom is the worst.
Oh, dear.
I've heard the women's washroom is worse than the men's washroom.
I would agree. I've checked out both, and I would agree.
Stay out of the women's washroom.
So, Colleen, are you the office mom? Is that what you're telling us?
Well, not anymore, but I was, and every once in a while I would yell out to the crowd, I'm not your mother.
Colleen, we feel you. We feel you. This is great. Thank you so much for sharing.
Have a great day, guys.
What's the most irritating office place infraction that you've witnessed? Because a new survey's out saying that 88% of those surveyed say the most irritating office behavior is not cleaning up after yourself. So, you get to that shared workspace and there's crumbs everywhere. There's somebody's wrapper. It's just gross.
Raised by wolves.
Yes.
Some people are.
And, on our text line at 981-981, it is filling up with a lot of things that you find annoying, including this one. People who take their shoes and socks off? What?
At work and socks?
They're the same people on the plane. They're the same people on the plane.
Unless you have a private office.
Yeah.
That's the only place that maybe that's okay. You cannot take your shoes and socks off.
No, do that at home.
That's brutal. Another text coming in saying people who suck up to the boss blatantly.
Oh, yeah.
These are the same people that would suck up to the teacher back in school.
It's so true.
We see you.
Notice how nothing on the text line is saying anything about being late, because that was at the bottom of the list, surprisingly, in this survey, that people being late apparently doesn't bother people anymore.
Yeah, I think COVID changed everything now.
Yeah.
You can join virtually, work from home, all that stuff. All right, let's do a call here. What is the most irritating office place infraction at your workplace? Let's head to Simran in Mississauga.
It's when people don't get to the point, when they're answering a question, but they go on and on and on. It's like they like the sound of their own voice, and I'm like rolling my eyes. I'm like, come on. Get to the point before I jump to the gun.
Simran, I'm just picturing you do that circular motion with your hand where you're like, wrap it up, let's get to the point. Come on, move this along.
And the head nod, and then the head's nodding to you, like, come on, let's go. You're almost there.
That's really good. And Pooja tells me that I have a terrible poker face, and I think if we're in this situation where someone's doing this, I'll start like mouthing the words that the person's trying to say, apparently, or just start rushing them along. I don't even know I'm doing it.
You start
I wear
nodding
my
your head.
emotions on my sleeve, so people see on my face. They're like, "Oh, if my camera's on." They're like, "Oh, okay, well here it is."
Wow, Simran, this is a good one. Thank you so much for sharing.
No worry, guys. Have a great day. Bye.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
There's a new survey out that's asking everybody, because most of us are office workers, what's the most irritating thing people do in the office? And that survey said messiness.
Yeah.
And also being late was a big one.
Being late was actually at the bottom of the list. I thought it would be near the top. Like people would be
Right.
like, oh, that's annoying. But I guess that's fallen out post-COVID because now people are like, well, you're always on your phone. You're always reachable. So maybe it doesn't
Right.
matter as much if you're right on time.
Taking Teams meetings from the bathroom.
Yeah.
Stop taking meetings from the John, Doug.
Yeah. You might have turned your camera off, but we can still hear you.
That's right. All right, you tell us, what is the most irritating office place infraction for you? Let's go to Laura in Waterdown.
It's the office know-it-all.
Ah.
They are constantly interrupting, butting in, thinking they know better than everybody else. And it drives me nuts because it's like, you weren't even part of this conversation. Why are you here?
Yeah.
The Cliff Clavin of the office.
And they always have the optimal way to do things in their opinion. It's like, you do you and I'll do me.
Yeah, just leave me out of your whatever this is.
There's some guy chiming up from the corner. Well, actually, no, we don't care. Laura, thank you for that. That's great.
Okay, thanks. Have a great day.
Well, actually.
The reason I said that, I have a friend who is a know-it-all, and anytime we're talking about anything, like, well, actually, it's a fun-known fact that snowbonobos are like...
Does he talk like that, or is that just your impression
Well,
of
it's
him?
a little exaggerated, but yeah, and he listens to the show, so, hi, Alan.
Oh, no, you called him out? That's Alan?
He knows he's the guy.
I've met Alan. I didn't know that about him. He definitely doesn't sound like that. What's the most irritating office place infraction for you? This after a survey came out saying that 88% of respondents say for them, the most irritating office behavior is people who don't clean up after themselves. All the crumbs they leave over, coffee stains, just being dirty.
I get it, because I think the days of everyone having their own desk and own cubicle, it exists, but it's less now. I feel like it's a lot of like shared workspaces, open spaces. So if you don't clean up after yourself, that's annoying.
And that office kitchen, for some reason, you think somebody's going to come and wash your dish for you?
Nope.
Why?
The coffee stains on some of the mugs in the sink right here,
Yes.
they're never coming out. Marley in Toronto, what is the most irritating office place infraction for you?
Okay, lunch thief. Even if your name is on it. Total lunch thief. And a friend of mine, when we were talking about this a while ago, decided that, I'm going to make my lunch special. And he, honest to God, put cat food in his sandwich.
No.
And put it in the fridge. And, somebody stole it. Yep.
Oh, my goodness.
Cat food.
That's a pretty good prank.
Oh, no, it isn't.
I'm shocked people, I've never really had like a real job, like a 9 to 5. And like, I'm just shocked people do this, like actually steal people's lunches. I thought that was just on TV.
Yeah.
No, he even put hot sauce in it.
Oh, my goodness.
He messed that up, and that person swallowed that up.
Now, in fairness, hot sauce and cat food do pair very well together, so...
I can't even stand the smell of cat food.
We also don't want to be poisoning our coworkers, just saying. I mean,
it's food, yes, but cat food smells.
No. Oh, Marley, thanks for sharing.
Have a great day, guys. Thank
too.
you so much.
You think cat food's poisonous?
Well, I
don't think it's poisonous.
I don't know that I'm okay with like doing that to, even though they're the ones who are stealing.
Right.
And you take on what you stole it, you take it on. I get it, but at the same time, I don't want them.
But if you play with that scenario, that guy is not eating the whole cat food sandwich. Like he's going to have a bite.
How do you know? What if it's delicious? Have you ever tried cat food with hot sauce?
Then there's no reason to feel bad if it's delicious.
We're asking you, what's the most irritating office place infraction? You got a lot to say about it. This after a survey came out saying that most people don't like when you don't clean up after yourself. Do you agree with that, or do you have your own infractions?
You seem to have a lot of your own infractions. In fact, we've taken all your responses, your calls, your texts, and, we thought we would put them in a tidy little list for you.
P&G Top 3.
Coming in at number 3, you seem to all agree that personal hygiene is one of the most annoying, irritating office place infractions, and that's everything from taking off your shoes and socks, clipping toenails, farting and pretending you did it.
That's so specific.
That was an actual text.
An actual text saying people who pass gas at work and then pretend.
They're like, we know it's you. We know it's you. You're fooling nobody.
Oh, man, that's amazing. Okay, number 2, the most common response, number 2, Irritating office behavior, loud people. This includes people who whistle at work, people who have loud conversations, and people who conduct conversations on speakerphone.
Oh, yeah. It's so frustrating. Like, just take that in another room. I don't need to hear
Or
it.
put on your headset or like just there's various things you can do.
Okay. And coming in at number 1, believe it or not, you seem to agree with the survey because dirtiness, really, that's a big one. So many texts about the office, bathroom, the kitchen, all the places where people are just messy and gross.
Yeah, one caller in particular was talking about the dirtiness of the women's bathroom. I don't know what you guys do in there. I would have assumed guys were worse, but I guess not.
I've never been in the men's bathroom. Okay, that's not true. I have been. That's
a story for another day.
Yeah, but it's pretty bad.
Okay, no time for follow-up questions.
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
It's a day to be concerned because
Why's that?
my co-host and friend, Gurdeep,
Me?
can't laugh. You can't laugh.
Oh.
Every time I say something funny or something is funny in this room and you go to laugh, this is what you sound like. This is what you just sound like.
Okay, I'm just getting over an illness. I have like an upper chest, upper respiratory thing. And for some reason, when I laugh, it's triggered and it turns into this.
That's what
Stop making me laugh. Let's
Okay.
just do a serious show.
No,
with no laughter.
Our show is not serious by design. Our show is supposed to be a distraction. It's supposed to put a smile on people's faces because hard things are happening in the world.
No. Not for today.
This is what you sound like. Let's play it again. Okay. And this is what it reminds producer Steph of.
It's the dog. It's the dog from the cartoons.
It is the old dog from the old cartoons, Muttley.
Muttley.
Yeah.
And his shoulders go up when he laughs, and he's like,
because he'd always mess up his like evil sidekick's plans.
I sound exactly like
You
Muttley.
do. It's awesome.
Is it wrong that I actually really like that laugh? Like I feel
Well,
like
people love Muttley, of course.
everybody
It's
should
adorable.
have like a guy in their friend group who laughs like that at their jokes. It makes everything funnier.
Yeah, the only problem with it is it makes me sound like I'm 108, and that combined with the fact that I have to like that what's it called now? I'm farsighted. I don't know. I need reading glasses. All of a sudden, you put those two together. I don't like it.
One more time. This is what Gurdeep sounds like.
So good.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
You know when people are like, "Oh, that's so cool. That's vintage. Mm-hmm. This is vintage. Oh, that looks kind of vintage."
Like all the records you own, those are all those albums. They're all vintage.
I always just thought it was sort of like an arbitrary term for anything that's like old.
Yeah.
Right? There's an actual definition of vintage, and it's not as old as I thought.
Okay.
Vintage is is defined as anything that is 20 years old.
Just 20 years?
Yeah, which sounds like a lot of time, but not when you actually turn the calendar back. So it's 2025, meaning stuff from 2005
Is considered vintage?
apparently.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It means like a lot of the stuff that, is part of us growing up and like actually being fully grown.
Stuff that we remember very well is
Yes.
vintage. And maybe I'm just in denial because this is making me feel super old, or maybe I'm in denial because I realize that I am double vintage with my age. But the first ever YouTube video, you seen that? Remember that video of Guy at the zoo? And he's just like, "Hey, I'm at the zoo." And
Yes.
just Guy uploaded, I think he was one of the founders of YouTube. That video is now vintage.
That
We've
was
all
20
seen.
years ago?
The Xbox 360
No.
is a vintage video game system.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That I'm shocked by.
Steph's going to hate this one. Guitar Hero.
I love the Guitar Hero and Rock Band.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Vintage.
Those are vintage. They're
Vintage.
so expensive. You weren't
It's 'cause
here.
they're vintage.
You weren't here when my. That's like you weren't here when my bowls broke. I had bowls that broke.
Stop breaking my bowls,
that
bro.
I bought in '95 before I moved here.
Vintage.
And they're vintage because they were from 1996.
Oh, those
and
are
they're like
super
$100 a
vintage.
bowl now.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
What else is on the list?
The word glamping.
No.
I thought that I use that all the time, and I think it's like cool and edgy. Glamping is vintage.
Oh, wow.
Do you guys use Etsy?
Yep.
Yeah.
Vintage.
What?
Etsy's 20 years old. It's vintage.
What?
Wow.
Yep. And I know you were probably especially into this stuff because you like werewolves and stuff. Twilight.
No, I hated this series.
Twilight
That's
is vintage.
20 years old.
Do you remember The Following? like a cult following of Twilight.
Yeah, it was mostly Steph.
No, I never liked it. I watched 20 minutes and it was the worst 20 minutes of my life. Yeah.
Okay,
Really?
but why stop there? If we're talking about vintage and you're saying it's 20 years, there's a lot of things we said 20 years ago that I guess is considered a vintage that we have to stop saying. Like, do you remember saying raising the roof?
Yeah, or people, it's more the action of people doing this.
We're raising the
I feel
roof.
like you actually still say a lot of things that are like vintage plus 10 years.
Like, you go, girl.
Yeah, and you say peeps a lot.
I do say peeps.
Yeah, peeps is, nobody says
Is that
peeps.
vintage?
You're the only one.
Oh, no.
You also say true dad a lot.
So I'm the problem?
No, it's not a problem. It's just I think your mind is stuck in a certain time, and that's fine. Like, my music tastes are stuck in a certain time.
I guess.
That are vintage.
So, like, these are considered very old things to say, I guess, or vintage things to say. Is vintage just a nice way of saying old?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It, like, adds value. It's old, but with some value.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what are the things that you've said over 20 years ago? I'm sure you've got stuff.
I probably do.
You seem like a what's up
I don't know,
kind of guy.
I'm pretty current, and I like to keep my words nice and short and succinct.
You've created your own language, in fairness.
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI.
Today is the day that you say Happy Lunar New Year, and it's the year of the snake.
Oh, happy Lunar New Year, the year of the snake.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to slither on out of here in that case.
I don't really know what anything really means, and I always sort of forget what I am. Do you know what you are
Oh,
in
yeah.
the lunar calendar? What are you?
Pig, baby, oink, oink.
You're a pig.
I'm a pig.
Kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
I'm
wait,
kidding.
sorry. Are we talking about the Lunar New Year? I thought you just meant in general.
No, I meant
Yeah. Well, in both, my answer to both is I'm a pig.
Okay, you're a pig, and producer Steph and I, we are the goat.
That's right.
You're not
The
goat,
greatest of all time.
You're goats.
We're the goats.
You're just a couple of goats.
We're goats.
And, well,
Wait, what?
in fairness, it's not just goats. Sometimes it's sheep. Sometimes it's ram.
We could be whatever.
Yeah.
So
and
basically, you guys are chameleons.
Yeah.
do you know what it means to be a pig?
Sounds
funny.
I don't. I didn't look that one up because it's the year of the snake. I
Right.
didn't want to steal the spotlight. So
Well, I'll just tell you right now, this is who you get to work with. Producer Steph and I, we are a symbol of gentleness, kindness, nurturing. We're artistic. We're compassionate, just really great qualities.
when I think you two, I think gentle and nurturing.
Me too.
For sure. Those are the
Hundo
first
P.
two adjectives that come to my brain. Yeah, this is spot on. So if this is your year, as Pooja mentioned, the year of the snake, which is the sixth animal in the zodiac cycle, traditionally associated with intuition, wisdom, slyness, and charm.
Oh, this kind of does sound like you.
But this isn't me.
I know, but it sounds like
okay,
you.
I'll take it. Often linked to the element of fire, representing passion and transformation. Now, that means that this year it's considered to be a time for reflection and skin shedding, like a snake does, i.e. personal growth.
Right. We're not just talking about dry skin because 'tis the season. We're
Right.
talking about actually forming into a new person.
Yeah.
Like new year, new you.
Yes, personal growth, and also get some glycomet on those hands.
Yes. For everyone celebrating, no matter what you are, the snake, the pig, the ram, the goat, whatever it might be. Happy Lunar New Year.
Happy Lunar New Year.
Thanks for listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Listen to Pooja and Gurdeep live weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Only on 98.1 CHFI.
Toronto's perfect music mix.